Today we're gonna be talking about missing data. So what is null in a non-objects look like? A new pd.na value singleton is introduced to present scalar missing values. After now, pandas use several values to present missing data. mp.nan is used for this for float data. mp.nan for or none for object d type data, and pd nat for date and time like data. The goal of PDA is to provide a missing directory, missing in the indicator that can be used consistently across data types. pd.na is currently used by the nullable integer and boolean data types in the new string data. So if you have a data frame and it's missing some data, so it won't just simply give you some random information. Instead it will just give you one of these stuff, تمام? But most likely it just shows you an A or none. So here we're just checking some methods: mp.nan, mp.na, mp.nat. يعني we're just getting to know them here. No, typical comparisons should be avoided with missing values. mp.nan is the same as mp.nan, false, because we don't know if this value is really equal to this value, because it could be anything. mp in nan in mp.nan gives us true, mp.nan is in mp.nan true, mp.na is equal to pd.na, يعني there some random stuff. So data, people were asked to score their opinions of actors from 1 to 10 before and after watching one of their movies. However, some data is missing. So here, this is our data frame, our data structure. We're reading a file called copy of movie scores. So as we can see here, we have some data, but here, for example, this row is missing. Here some information is missing, and here we have all of the information. So here we're gonna learn how to check and select null values. This is the normal table that we read. This null is used to ask if the value is null or no. So it gives us null. It gives us false if it has a value. For example, Tom, it gives us false. And for nan, it gives us true. Null is the opposite. If it has data, it will give us true, and if it doesn't, it will return false. If we call first name, it will give us the names. Yeah, it gives us all of the names that are in the table or in the column. And now, what do you want? We're gonna ask if df first name dot not null. We're asking if first name is not null. Please wait. And doesn't do anything because here we're asking for it to display the values that only have names that are not null. So as you can see, number 1 is excluded over here because if we check, it doesn't have a value, so that's why it's excluded from this table, the entirety of row 1. Here we're asking for pre-movie score is null. Okay, we're asking that we want the movie scores to be null, they don't have a value, and 6 to be with information. We want it to be information. The only row that this applies to is number 2. That's why is number 2 the only one shown here, because it doesn't have a score for pre-movie score, and it does in fact have 6 in it. How do we drop data? We can ask Pandas to explain by help method df.dropNA. What dropNA does is it drops every single NA in your data frame, but still it removes a lot of rows that might be used that might be useful. So we can set a threshold. For example, the maximum can be the maximum of null data per per row is 1. Yeah, this is something. Here we're saying drop NA axis 1, so it's dropping everything. It's dropping every column. Here drop NA threshold. Threshold is 4. It's showing us the data frame in this way. We can also fill data. We're here, for example, by using method fill NA, for example, we can type here anything. In this case, we're typing new value. As we can see, everything is changed that used to be null to new value. So here we can change, for example, first name dot fill NA empty. So anything that's NA will be changed to empty, as we can see here in row number 1. Here we're telling Pandas to only fill in the first name column, with empty. So this is the only change that happens, and the rest are the same. We can get the mean of pre-score movies. We can do some mathematical equations for it. Pre-movie fill in NA dot mean. So here we're just filling it with the mean. So so here we're telling it to fill in the non unprovided data with the mean of the pre-movie score. So for example, for instance, here it was 7, so everything that was non. So we had 2 nans over here, which were row 1 and 2. So now we can see them as 7. Fill in a, yes, filling with interpolation. Be careful with this technique. You should try to understand whether or not this is a valid choice for your data. You should also note there are several methods available. The default is a linear method. So here we have a dictionary. We created it, or we turned it into a data series. So it's now like this. Interpolate. Here it just tries to predict according to the flow of numbers what could the non number could be. So in this case it's 90, it's 75. df the data frame CER, which is this one. And the columns is equal to price. We named it price. So yes, this is the data. Interpolate. Yes, this is missing data.